Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Let me be honest with you, I was wrong. I sat here, probably like a lot of you, looking at the offseason moves, looking at the rumors swirling around Jarren Duran, and I genuinely thought there was a real chance the Red Sox moved him. Multiple outlets were throwing his name out there, beat writers were speculating, fans were debating it on every platform. It felt real. It felt like it was building towards something. And then Cora just ended the conversation. Just like that. Because here's what Cora announced Tuesday. Roman Anthony hits leadoff. Trevor Story hits second. Jarren Duran hits third. That's your 2026 Red Sox top of the order. And the moment I saw that, I just thought, yeah, okay. We can put all of this to bed now. The trade rumors, the speculation, the hot takes, all of it, done. But let's actually slow down and appreciate what that lineup construction is telling us, because I think people are glossing over how significant this is. You don't slot a guy third in your lineup if you're trying to trade him. You don't build your entire offensive identity around a player you're quietly shopping. Cora is not out here playing games. When he makes an announcement like this, it means the organization is locked in. It means internally, there was never really a serious conversation about dealing Duran, at least not one that got anywhere close to happening. And honestly, that's the right call. That is absolutely the right call. Let me remind you what Jarren Duran actually is as a baseball player, because sometimes in the middle of all the noise, we lose sight of the numbers. In 2024, this man hit 285. He had 48 doubles, 48. He hit 14 triples, 21 home runs, posted a 132 OPS plus, and finished the year with 8.7 WR. That's not a complimentary piece. That's not a guy you plug into the 7 or 8 hole and hope he contributes. That is a core, foundational player. That is a guy who changes the way opposing pitchers have to approach an entire lineup. He accumulated over 13 wins above replacement across his career and received MVP votes in 2024. You know who gets MVP votes? Impact players, elite players, the kind of players you build around, not the kind of players you package in a trade to fix a hole somewhere else on your roster. Now, yes, 2025 was a step back. 256 average, 41 doubles, 13 triples, 16 home runs, 114 OPS plus, 4.7 BWAR. Numbers came down across the board, and I think that's exactly where the trade speculation started picking up momentum, right? When a player comes off a massive year and then takes a statistical dip, people start questioning whether the peak was real or whether this is what the decline looks like. I get it. I understand the logic, but here's the thing. 4.7 BWAR is still really good. That's still a legitimate above-average major league outfielder putting up numbers that a lot of teams would love to have. The 2024 season was just so exceptional that 2025 looked disappointing by comparison, even though by almost any other standard it was a strong year, and he averages nearly 50 extra base hits a season. You don't just give that away, you don't move that kind of bat because you had one down year. So where does hitting third actually change things for Duran going forward? It changes everything, because now you've got Roman Anthony, one of the most electric prospects in baseball, a kid who can get on base and create havoc at the top of the lineup, hitting directly in front of him. And then Trevor Story, when healthy, is a legitimate on-base threat at 2. If those first 2 hitters are doing their job and getting on base consistently, Duran is going to have more RBI opportunities than he's ever had in his career. He's going to be stepping into the box with runners on, pressure situations, big moments, and based on everything we've seen from him, he is built for that. That lineup, 1 through 3, on paper, that's a nightmare for opposing pitching staffs. Anthony at the top giving you speed and athleticism, Story providing a right-handed bat with pop, and then Duran coming up third with that combination of average, power, and elite extra base hit ability. That is a serious top of an order. I'm not sure people are talking about this enough. Now, after Duran, we're still waiting on the full picture to come together, but you'd have to imagine Wilson Contreras comes in cleanup with that left-handed pop. And then you're mixing in Wilyer Abreu, Caleb Durbin, Ceddanna Rafaela as you work through the back half. That's a lineup with depth, with diversity, and with multiple ways to hurt you. Pitchers can't just get through the first three and exhale. Every single spot in that order has a threat attached to it. The name that's actually interesting to me now, and I want to get into this for a second, is Masataka Yoshida. Because if the Red Sox are going to move anybody, if they're quietly trying to open up playing time or shed payroll or make a move that helps them reallocate resources somewhere, Yoshida feels like the more realistic candidate. And look, I'm not trying to put him on a trade block right now, but the math starts to get a little complicated with the outfield depth they have. Abreu is pushing for everyday at-bats. Rafaela is out there. Durbin has earned a look. Yoshida's contract is significant. If there's a team that needs a bat and is willing to take on salary, that conversation probably makes more sense than any conversation involving Duran. Duran, meanwhile, should be getting a contract extension conversation sooner rather than later, because here's the reality. The clock is ticking on what it's going to cost to keep him in Boston long term. Right now, there might be a window where you can get a deal done that works for both sides, but every year that passes, every good season he puts together, every extra base hit he adds to his resume, that price goes up. We're already looking at someone who could realistically command $25 to $30 million a year in average annual value when he hits free agency, maybe more. The Red Sox need to decide whether they want to lock this up now or face a situation in a year or two where they're either paying him massive money or they're forced into the exact trade scenario everyone was speculating about this offseason, except under much worse circumstances. Now, Cora did throw out one caveat that I want to address. He mentioned that Duran might get some days off against left-handed pitching, with Wilyer Abreu getting those starts instead, and that's fine. That's smart, actually. You manage your roster, you use your depth, you give your guys rest when it makes sense. But here's what I also know. If Duran comes out of spring training swinging the bat well against southpaws, if he shows Cora that the platoon split isn't something they need to manage around, he's going to get close to 700 plate appearances again. He's going to be out there almost every single day. And that's exactly what you want from your number 3 hitter. This is a Red Sox team that, despite losing Alex Bregman, despite having real questions about their pitching depth, has a lineup that can genuinely compete with anyone in the American League. They're not just hoping to sneak into the playoffs. They have the offensive pieces to do real damage if things come together. And Jarren Duran is right at the center of that. So the next time someone brings up a Duran trade rumor, and look, I'm sure they'll resurface at some point, that's just how this works. Just come back to this moment. Alex Cora named him 3rd in the lineup and basically told the entire league that this guy is going nowhere. That's your answer. That has always been the answer. The Red Sox know exactly what they have in Jarren Duran. The real question was never whether they'd trade him. The real question is whether they're smart enough to extend him before someone else gets the chance to. Because at some point, if Boston doesn't lock him up, there will be a team out there ready to pay whatever it takes. And then all the trade speculation people were doing this offseason will feel like nothing compared to what that conversation looks like. Don't let Duran walk. Don't make this complicated. Sign the man. Word count. 1/8 120.